this is probably my quote-unquote worst reading month of the year. And I don't necessarily say that in a bad way. I just was not reading. It's like the least amount of reading that I've done all year. And I think that part of that is because I was on vacation for a week. The holidays are starting to begin. We are getting ready for, one of the busiest times of the year, so I just haven't been reading as much. Naturally, I read about like a book a week, and honestly, I am totally happy with reading one book a week. Any reading is good reading, whether you read one book a year or 100 books a year. I just feel like as long as you are interested in actively trying to pick up a book when you have time, that's all that matters. So I'm not stressing myself out about how many books I read in a month, and neither should you, okay? Just a friendly reminder. But when I was sitting down to film, I did feel a little bit like, is 4, if you include my current read, is 4 books going to be enough for a video? So for the sake of ASMR, I just want to make sure the video is worth your while. I thought I would throw in 3 books that I could haul that I got recently. 3 books that I either got from a subscription service or were sent from the publisher. So that'll just give us a little bit more to talk about today. Without further ado, let's first discuss the books that I read in October. I think it is only right to start with the book that I read as my Patreon book club pick. I run my book club through my Patreon, so if you want to join, we read one romance book every single month that we decide on as a group, and then I post an exclusive reading vlog / review on the Patreon. So definitely consider joining the Bestie Book Club tier on the Patreon. But for October, we voted on and decided to read Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. Now, the normal cover looks like this, but I got this beautiful special edition from probably Smut's subscription box I am subscribed to. We'll talk about another one of their books in the haul portion of this video, but they really do just hit it out of the park with their special editions, and I'm obsessed with this cover. If I was rating it on the cover alone, it would be a 5 out of 5. Unfortunately, as my patrons know, this was not as enjoyable as I would have hoped it would have been. But this is a dark stalker romance, and it follows our main character, Allie, who is a nurse that works very, very late hours, okay? And she gets off work, and you know what she likes to do? Scroll on TikTok, as many of us. And one night when she's on TikTok, she comes across a masked man making thirst traps. And she decides that she's kind of into it. She begins following him, commenting on his posts. Little does she know, Josh, our faceless man, is the roommate of this guy she's been hooking up with, and they come across each other unknowingly. He knows that she likes masked men, and he wants to make her fantasies a reality. Okay, I listened to the audiobook while I read this, and oh my god, the audiobook is immaculate. The narration was done so well, and it's layered over each other really, really well. So if you are going to pick this up, 100% I recommend doing it on audiobook. I feel like if I read it physically, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. I think it would have hindered my enjoyment just a little bit, but it's written with a bit of a rom-com tone. So it is a dark romance, but it's a lot about like comedy and banter as well. It reminded me very much of the Butcher and Blackbird kind of writing style, so not to yuck anyone's yum, I just don't think dark rom-coms are for me. It just doesn't like work for me. It is definitely spicy, okay? Definitely spicy, very spicy. So be aware of that. I ended up giving this a 2.75 stars. Initially, I wanted to give it like a 3.5. But there is a point like 60% of the way in the book when the couple is like pretty much together, and they're getting it on. They've pretty much figured everything out about each other. They're dating, and I just like got so bored. And then we kind of focus on this really random side plot that comes into play at like the 60% mark. And I did not give two shits about that side plot. If you know, you know. Like, I just did not give a fuck. I really didn't care. I'm here for the romance. And so I think this is definitely one where they might have gotten together like a bit too early for me to care about the rest of the book. So the last 40% I like was drudging to get through. So that did damper my rating a little bit, but overall 2.75 stars. I think this was definitely one of the most like polarizing book club picks. Half the people loved it, 4 or 5 stars, and the other half were like 2 stars, not for me. But I think everyone can agree that it was a wild ride. So that is Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. Now the next book that I picked up, I thoroughly enjoyed. This was a gift from a subscriber, so a big special thanks again to the subscriber that sent this, because this is a new 5-star little autumnal read that honestly I could see myself rereading like every October. It is Fangs by Sarah Anderson. Now, this is a graphic novel, so it is short, it is sweet. You can read it in one sitting. I read it in like 40 minutes. It's very quick to get through. Quick to get through. And it follows 2 main characters. One is a vampire and one is a werewolf. And they meet and fall in love. And this is basically a supercut of sorts of just like them meeting, falling in love, and cute, adorable, romantic, funny moments between them. The art style is adorable, and I was blushing, smiling, kicking my feet the entire time. Like, it was just a fun, good old fun graphic novel. It's not one where you necessarily like get invested in the characters. There's not a plot going on. It's just like a case study looking at these two and their cute little life together, and the challenges that dating a werewolf or dating a vampire like might bring them. It's so fun. So anyway, if you like graphic novels, if you want to pick up a cute and fun spooky season full read, I highly recommend Fangs. And I gave it 5 stars. Please go read this. It is so cute. Not as cute, unfortunately, was my next read. I picked up a thriller. I feel like it's only right to read a thriller during Halloween time. So I decided to pick up Miss Frida McFadden's newest release. This is The Boyfriend. This follows our main character, Sydney, who is a girl. She's a woman dating. She's single, living in Manhattan or New York, somewhere in New York. She begins dating this handsome doctor named Tom, and her friends and other women in the town start to go missing, and it goes from there. I'm gonna be honest, this was probably the worst Frida McFadden book I've read yet, and I don't mean that it was like bad. It was just boring. Like, there was nothing thrilling about this book. First of all, Sydney, our main character, was just like dumber than a box of rocks. She had those rose-colored glasses on, obvious that there was something off with Tom, the guy that she's dating, but she acts so oblivious the entire time. It's almost painful. It was hard to be in her perspective and like follow her, but then on top of that, all the other characters on the side, I felt like villains were just villains for the sake of it. They had no rhyme or reasoning. It was just like people were bad to be bad. There's no nuance in their characters. Everyone is kind of just an archetype. And don't get me wrong, I feel like that is kind of the same with most of Frida McFadden's books. I don't think her books are ever character focused, but I think there's two reasons why I pick up a Frida book. One, to get through it quickly. This took me like a good week to finish. And two, to get some crazy plot twists that you don't see coming. And this was the first time that I managed to guess every plot twist. I knew who the killer was. I knew who Tom was going to end up with. Like, I just knew what was going to happen. I'm a great Gatsby stan. Don't put two motherfuckers named Daisy and Tom in a book together and expect me to not suss something out real fast. It just was boring. It wasn't good. It wasn't entertaining. And I'd hoped that the twist at the end would like kind of make it worth the while a little bit, but I had guessed what was going to happen. Not my favorite. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to pick up another Frida book unless like people really are like raving about it, you know, like it's like The Housemaid all over again, because so far they've all just been kind of vaguely disappointing to me. I'm sorry. Now those are the 3 books that I finished, that I've rated in October and this last week. My current read, I have started The Grace Year. The Grace Year. The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. This is a young adult dystopian thriller, and it is about our main girl named Tierney, who lives in this sort of dystopian society where all the young girls from ages like 16 to 17, it's called their Grace Year, and during the Grace Year, all the 16, 17-year-old girls get banished basically to the woods alone, and this is supposed to be to like expel their magic before they turn 18, they get married, they like, you know, become women. And so we're following our main character Tierney, who is 17 and going on her own Grace Year. Now, I am only like 120 pages in, so I'm like a third of the way through the book, and I'm enjoying it. It is building up the suspense. It's definitely like setting the stage. You're meeting your characters. I just got to the point where she's like, it's like day 1 of her Grace Year, like alone with the other girls, and they're trying to figure out what they're doing. So I don't really know too much yet. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it, but I'm enjoying the ride. I do like the writing. I've had a few tabs and annotations, just of some like lyrical writing that I enjoyed, or some metaphors I edition of A Dawn of Onyx. A Dawn of Onyx. This is a pretty popular fantasy romance that I've been seeing around. It's by Kate Golden. This book has dragons, secret identities, strong female friendships, unique magical lands, and a captive romance plot. Sounds good to me, girls. Sign me up. I'll read it. Hey, I'll give it a shot. And last, but certainly not least, we have my October Afterlight book. Another book subscription box that I love is the Afterlight. It's a monthly book, and it's by Illumicrate, and they do gorgeous hardcover signed special editions